Good morning, hello, I'm Daniel, this is the TriathlonDan YouTube channel, and today is my first ever Audax. I'm in Alfreton, which is only a couple of miles away from where I live, and it's a big Audax centre. There's lots of events starting and finishing here. Today's 200 kilometres, and I've ridden a couple of miles here, so I've got to ride a couple of miles back. So it's going to be a long old day in the saddle if all goes to plan. It is an out and back, or mostly out and back route, and you have several checkpoints along the way. Lots of things to think about during this ride. I'm used to just pedalling, not thinking. I'm going to go and get registered or signed on, or whatever you do at an Audax, and then get ready to go. Okay, so I'm at the first ever Audax and already come across another YouTuber. Tell us who you are, what your channel is. I'll leave a link in the description.
Oh, I'm called the Crazy Peddler.
Yeah.
Because I am just a bit crazy.
Am I going to find out why that is?
Yeah, probably.
Tell me a bit about Audax then. You've done many before. What do I need to know?
Well, the truth is, I only got into this 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Audax is just about long distance stuff. So if you're bonkers enough to go for hours and hours and hours on multiple mileage sort of distances in the middle of winter, like we are, then well, that's Audax for you, really.
Got it. And we've been given a brevet, is that the right word?
Yeah, brevet.
Talk me through, what's the deal with this today?
Right, so as you cycle along, the idea is you go to certain different places, and you have to collect either a receipt, and you put your time in, according to where you've been and what time you've got there and the rest of it. Or, if there's a controller at that point, they'll stamp it for you to prove you've been there.
Just like proof I've been to those places.
That's exactly what it does. It stops you from cheating.
Yeah. I'll check out Strava. It does all this for you.
Yeah,
it should be good. Yeah, okay. Right.
Although I'm going to use the e-brevet.
I've downloaded the app, I've looked at it, but I thought I can't touch it with my gloves, my phone not with my gloves on. So I thought, do I keep stopping? And I have my bike computer in miles and the distance is all in kilometres. I'm like, I don't want to change it.
Yeah, that won't work.
I can't compute it in my head. But
so I'll probably e-brevet today. This is one of those rides that you can do that. It's kind of new stuff they've got on board and people doing that. So yeah, it should be good.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. See you out there. Check out the channel. Links in the description.
Yeah.
See you out there.
Morning.
Morning, chaps. Sorry, I can't show you my brevet because you haven't got one.
No.
I'm not showing you what's in it. We get to get stamps and times at different places, and you don't get any of them, do you? 207k, you not fancy it?
No.
Paul and Paula's going to ride out with us. How far are you going out? 30 or 40 miles?
Yeah. 60 altogether. Yeah. So like 28 mile with you.
Just tow us out, 22 mile an hour.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I can do that.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Even on climbs.
Yeah. Where's it, Andy? I saw him at a distance. Right, I'm all ready to go, I think, and it looks like I've just missed the start. So, it's not like a crit or a road race. They don't drop a flag and you all go, I don't think. I think people just roll out within 5 or 10 minutes of when they like. Obviously, you don't want to be a massive group on the road, and I've got a couple of friends riding the route today, but I'm not really too fussed about like staying with them. I want to get a full Audax experience, so let's get riding. You're shouting, come on, Dan, already? Yeah. You just roll out when you want, don't you? Isn't there a segment that we wait like 5 minutes after and then go?
It's not a race.
So my only real objective for today is just to enjoy it and to get the challenge done. I'm not really anywhere near good shape at the minute for me, so I'm just using it as an excuse to get a good long ride in and just to ride with some other people. However, I have just let my mates ride off from me. The first few miles are quite rolling, and with 120 miles to do, I can't be overextending myself early on up hills trying to hold on to people. I just need to ride my own pace, and I'll probably end up near some other people. There's about, I'd say 50 to 60 people at the start, I think, so I'm sure I'll come across other people. They've been through a few groups already, including one guy who didn't have a helmet on, and I'm assuming that is allowed in Audaxing, but in honesty, I'm struggling with that. Only a few years ago, cycling time trials made helmets mandatory, and I know it's individual preference and all that. I just think it's a bit silly, but you know, each to their own. If it's within the rules, fine. I'm just personally wouldn't be doing that regardless of what the rules say, but whatever. The first control point is like a self-control, so you have to go to a shop, which is either a garden centre or a post office, just buy something and get a receipt. Or I think you can even just get a print out from the receipt, just with the time on. You don't have to buy anything, I'm not sure, but just to basically prove you've been there. So the actual parkour today is it's rolling to start for the first few miles, and then it's about 50 miles of mostly flat with a tailwind, turn around, 60 miles home, so 50 miles flat with a headwind, and then about 10 miles just rolling. So not too much elevation, plenty of miles though. Cut-offs wise, you have different times that you've got to be at different checkpoints between, but the only one where there's actually going to be a human there stamping your book is at the turnaround. And I get the vibe they're pretty flexible, so I think it's just a case of get it done, and you've got to be back at HQ before 10 PM to get it registered as a finish. But I do think, you know, if you're outside of that, people are still going to finish it, aren't they? So it feels really low pressure, and like you can just turn up and give it a go. Oh, so my friends did wait for me once, but I've got dropped again. I said to them just keep going. Like there's 4 or 5 of us from the same club, and there's only 3 of us actually doing the full Audax. And they're just riding a bit too fast for me. It's not their fault, they're just stronger than I am. I know how hard these things get towards the end. I cannot just like commit suicide early on and ride even like 5% too hard. It's just not sensible. All the little surges out of corners and roundabouts to stay on the group. We're riding like 5 or 6 riders strung out, and that's not the experience I want today. I want to have a nice, genuine endurance ride. And I want to talk to some other people. Nothing against my mates, they're lovely people, but we're here at Audax, an event with loads of other cyclists. I now want to hear their stories and where they're from and what Audax means to them and all of that. Not just chew the stem, so let's do some more pedaling at a more sedate pace. So I'm about 37 miles in, and this is the first place you can stop to get your first stamp in the book, or first receipt as the case may be. So basically one stop on the way out, the turnaround point, and then one stop on the way back. So the popular stop is at a garden centre a few miles further down the road, which has a little cafe, which people might stop at the cafe for. But I've opted to stop at the post office a little bit sooner because I don't want to stop, I just want to stop, get the thing, have a quick drink, and then carry on. And if anything, I'll have a longer stop on the way back if I do fancy a longer stop. So I was riding with a gentleman as well. He was telling me he's come all the way down from Bradford to do this today, and he did a 200k one last week as well, and he said the weather's loads better today. And Audax in his thing, he used to cycle years and years ago, had like 20 years off the bike, and then pulled his bike out his garage a couple of years ago, and Audax is so cool to hear that. He had a really old like steel frame bike, mud guards and so on, and he said this is the bike he just pulled out the loft, so fair play. My nutrition stop of choice is just a can of Pepsi. I would normally go for Pepsi Max Cherry, but I thought I would have a little bit of sugar. Just thought while I'd stopped, I'd show you my setup for today. It's my road bike, and it's just my normal road setup. The only things I've changed is I've put a big front light on the front, 2 lights on the back because we're going to be out for a long time today, and I've got a frame bag on, just a Lifeline, which is like Wiggle Zone brand small frame bag, and in there I've basically just got some flapjacks, a couple of squares bars, a power bank, and then a wire for everything electrical I have. So this camera, the front light, a rear light, phone, because I just think it's a long ride and it's cold weather, batteries don't last as well. I've got a Shramitap battery charger as well. I just don't want anything to die. For the sake of putting a little frame bag on and sticking a power bank in, I might as well just, you know, future-proof myself. And I think on this sort of ride, you're not just preparing things for yourself. Like if somebody else on the road has something die, a light or something, and it's dark or dusk, I'd like to be able to help somebody. So, you know, you've got to pack for like helping people as well as yourself, haven't you? I'm quite close to Retford now, also known as the Retto Ghetto. Had a few questionable nights out in Retford. A couple of Christmas Eves out in Retford actually. The last 10 miles or so have all been on the old Outlaw X route. If anybody watching as a triathlete has done that event, you'll know it. Brilliant roads, brilliant route. Such a shame that event isn't anymore. The last time it ran, I think I was 9th or 10th off the bike. That probably is why it hasn't run since. There weren't a great deal of people there the last year. and it's expensive to run, so hopefully one day it'll come back, but unlikely. Nice course though. So I've got 15 miles to go until the turnaround. I'm averaging about 20 miles an hour on this section. My overall average is about 17, which is quicker than I thought it'd be, but it is pan flat now. I've got 79 feet of climbing before halfway. But we have got a nice tailwind. I'm not looking forward to this on the way back, because obviously it's going to be the opposite, but yeah, I look forward to getting to the turnaround. I've got an interesting fact about the turnaround point as well, but I'll show you when we get there. So I'm at the turnaround point now, and we're at the control point. Would you please tell me what are we doing here? Because this is the first time I've actually done an Audax.
Well, this is Blacktop Sands,
okay,
which is a bird reserve, and what we're doing is we're freezing to death, stamping people's cars to prove you've got it, and then you can turn around and go home. Got it.
So where have you guys come from? You come from Alphaton, or are you based up there?
Yes, I saw you set off this morning.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Setting off, and you may see us at the end.
Yeah.
But probably we won't be back in time for you.
I don't know. I'm fading quite well. Isn't there an interesting fact about a square kilometre near here as well? I
don't know about that.
Yeah, apparently there's a square on an ordnance survey map. It's the most the square where nothing's happening. It's like the most boring square kilometre in the country.
Could well be here.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of nothing.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. How many people are you expecting today then to here?
35.
Oh, okay, that's good.
35 starters.
Yeah. The weather's been pretty good, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'll be finished.
Yeah.
You can get pushed out here.
Yeah.
Daniel walked.
Yes, that's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you turn back into a howling headwind.
I know, well, I'm trying to make friends with this guy. He looks like it'd be a nice windbreak.
Yeah.
And he won't be my friend by the end of it, because I'll just be sat behind him. But, all right. Well, thank you very much for your help today, your support.
Take care.
Thanks very much. Cheers. I've got loads of food on me. I'm definitely going to have a little eat before I go, but thank you very much anyway.
Yeah.
Cheers, thanks. So I made a couple of friends for the return journey, hoping that they'll tow me into the wind. And it was pointed out to me that at 137k there's what's called an info control. So that's a control point where we have to answer a question. The question is, I was looking at a bit of paper, it's in East Stockwith. I've got to write down the distance to Moreton. Moreton is a place. It's like an exam, this. God, so I need to remember when I get to East Stockwith how many miles it is to Moreton. I ain't got a pen, and I ain't stopping. These are just rolling through. So I think these are doing the e-brevet thing. Good pointing out by them. Thanks for pointing it out, because I wouldn't have done that. Okay, and then it's Gainsborough for a proper checkpoint where I've just got to get a receipt. Make sense? Okay. Okay, I'm recording this clip for when I forget later. It's 3 miles. The answer is 3. I'm holding up 3 fingers. 3 miles. The headwind's quite debilitating, but how far have I got left? 45 miles to go. Already got 5.25 hours done. It's going to be 8 and a bit hour ride, but we're going to get it done. Sword? Okay, so petrol station stop in Gainsborough. This is the last control. Done 5.5 hours, 94 miles, all of that, and I still have 41 to go and all the climbing at the end, so I look forward to that. Got a sandwich, cherry coke and a Mars Duo, so, and a receipt, important. Let's get this down me. Let's keep ticking away. So we're on the home run now. We reckon it's about 2 hours and 45 of riding-ish. I've just seen Andy and Dougal, when we were in the petrol station, they rode by a few minutes ago, so we won't catch them, but we're not actually that far behind, so that is good. Sorry for the lack of commentary, it's just getting a bit tough. 22 miles to go, about 1,500 feet of climbing. I know I'm going to get there, but it's stinging now. Everything's hurting. All the things that should hurt when you ride your bike for this long, shoulders, neck, hands, knees, etc. Just getting a bit tough, but got some company. We're just tapping it out, trying not to go too hard on the hills, and just keep moving forward. At some point it'll be over, won't it? So let's get there. 10 miles to go. This is really hard. 125 miles done. 7.5 hours of riding. Come on. 4 miles to go. I'm doing anything to avoid pedaling. Any slight little bit of downhill, I'm tucked up. I'm absolutely done in. This has been a proper dawn till dusk ride. It's well before dawn and after dusk by the time I'm back, but what a day. Look forward to getting back. I get my card stamped and signed, and I hope he looks at these receipts. Okay, ride done and dusted. Stats on the screen. Allow me the Strava flex. Liz is here, so I want to tell her about my ride, but she's just told me that her patience is wearing thin. I've only been home 5 minutes. Because Liz wants to start cooking tea, and me dragging you over here is a problem. I waited 10 minutes for the shower, just saying. So, Liz, today was good. Thank you, Liz. Liz texted me 2 or 3 times?
3 times.
3 times? You got my live track, haven't you? So what was the first one? Come on, my guy, you got this. The second one was like, you're nearly done. Keep working. And then you said, do you want picking up from Alfreton? And do you know what? When I saw it pop up, I was like, it'd be easy to just say yes. But no, it's only like 3 miles. I did that last little bit home. And the last little bit home tipped me over 5,000 feet of climbing, 140 miles of distance, 8 hours and 50 of riding time. But if anybody asks, it's going to be 9 hours. And I normalised 199 watts. And again, if anybody asks, it's going to be 200. I'm really, really happy with that. The last month for me hasn't been, it's been all up and down. The last week and a half, 2 weeks has been bad. So to know that I can still pull a long ride out of the bag, I'm really, really taking a lot of encouragement from that. I felt all right. The last hour and a half was bad. It was like I was really, really pedaling squares. My legs were absolutely killing, but we stopped a couple of times. I rode with the same gentleman all the way back from the turnaround point, and we stopped a couple of times, and I just rammed loads of jelly babies right down my neck. I couldn't face any more food, but I knew that was what I needed just to get some energy in. So yeah, really, really good. And that's Audax in. I mean, what was the Audax like? Good. There's a lot of thinking to do with the checkpoints, and like I didn't know about that info checkpoint on the way back, info control, sorry. And I mean, you're stopping when perhaps you don't want to stop to just go in a shop and buy something and get a receipt. So I feel like, do I like that or not? But I think that is part of the challenge of Audaxing. I think perhaps that sort of thing, and some people were using the app, but you had to start the app when you start at the start, and then at the turnaround point, one guy got there and he'd come back because he'd forgotten to check in on the app at the turnaround point. Had to come back a couple of miles. So there is the danger that you mess it up that way. So you can do a hybrid, some with the app and some with just receipts or stamps or whatever. So I guess it's just part and parcel of Audaxing, but I was a bit like, I don't like, especially when it's cold. That was a bit of a, I don't know if this is like worth it or not, but good to do, good to get ticked off, follow all the rules, etc. The actual event, 35 riders. You've got to be prepared to ride on your own for quite a lot of time if if you're not going with somebody else at the same pace as you. I did ride back with a gentleman on the way back, which was good, but it's just pot luck. You might not be around anybody, so I guess these things are busier in summer. I'm sure they're more popular when the weather's better and when there's more sunlight and stuff. But I'll just be prepared for that. Alfreton is quite a big Audaxing place, as I was finding out today. And like many of these things, it's run by volunteers, people giving up their time. Those that are driven out to the turnaround point today to stamp our book, stand out in a cold car park all day. When I got back to the HQ, they're checking your receipts and whatever else. There's 3 or 4 people there. They had food and drink there for you if you want. Do you want a cup of tea making and all of that? I never get that at home, so it's nice to have that option. I brought you a easy peel orange back from the finish.
Yeah,
so it was really good. Yeah, you actually love it, don't you? And I feel like it was £11 or £12 for this today, and there's £2 or £3 in there because I'm not like an Audax member. So if I was an annual member, which is, I don't know how much, it'd be a bit cheaper. So I think that's really good value, and I think especially if there's going to be a group of you going, or if it's a more popular Audax, then yeah, definitely do it. For me, I wouldn't do a Sportive, I'd do an Audax just because of the lower price point. And you can stop where you want. The time limits are that long that we could have stopped for a cafe stop en route anywhere. I know you've got to stop at the checkpoints, but you could stop wherever you liked. So, and they generally do try and put the checkpoints at places where there are places to stop. So that was good. I'm glad I've done it. My legs are absolutely killing. I'm not sure that I'll be riding the bike tomorrow, but we will see. What are you doing tomorrow, Liz?
Going out to the car. Dobby's going the centre with Mum and Grandma.
You're going out all day and leaving me at home?
Yeah.
That's not very nice, is it?
Today.
Okay.
Can we just point out that it's the 1st of February and you've got your Christmas pyjamas on?
I've got my pyjamas on, Christmas pyjamas on, because you've got a Christmas wreath on the door.
No, I haven't. It's gone.
Oh, you're scared.
I took the bits off that I wanted.
You're scared of getting abuse on the internet. Anyway, well done to you if you took part in the Audax today, because it was not easy on that way back, 60 miles of headwind. And yeah, let me know down below. Have you done much Audaxing? Is there any that you'd recommend to me? There is another one in a few weeks, which I guess I'm on the fence about whether I do or not. It seems like bad to turn it down because it's so local, but I don't know if I'm like, oh, I'm going to do Audaxing as a sport now. But yeah, definitely good, and really good community welcoming feeling vibe, and that is really, really good, and hopefully more people do it. Thanks for watching. Hit like and subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
Well done, babes. Proud of you.
See ya.
Bye.